Good night, CSEC scholars. Welcome to another live CSEC math class. Tonight, being Tuesday, is our algebra night, and we are going to continue our factorizing quadratic expressions. We started this session last week, and we factorized several expressions, and we decided that, you know what, we're going to do it again this week because we love to factorize quadratic expressions. It is so easy, it's addictive. Once you start, you can't stop. Before we go into our factorizing, I'm just going to quickly play our schedule of live classes so you can jot down the dates and times and what sessions we do. We have 5 live PEP classes per week and 6 live CSEC classes per week. So here you go. CSEC math students, I know you are busy preparing for your math tests and your CSEC exams coming up. I have a very important question to ask you. Do you like my new hat? Thank you. Now, another important question. Have you ever gotten a math problem wrong simply because of making one little mistake? I'm sure you have, as thousands of other students have. Now, in this series, we're going to be looking at the common mistakes that students make with all the topics in CSEC math. We're going to look at the common errors, demystify everything, make sure you watch every video in this series so that you can avoid making those mistakes. So, stay tuned. Hello, scholars. Did you know that most times when students get problems wrong in mathematics is as a result of one single error or one mistake? Well, this is absolutely true, and we're going to be looking at the common errors that students make in the different topics in mathematics. If we know the errors beforehand, we can certainly avoid making them. Are you ready? Come on, take my hand. All right, so let me welcome on the screen Imani, John.
Good night, Miss.
Good night, guys.
Good night, Miss.
Good night. And I want to welcome those who are joining us in the chat. Welcome Joyce, Bryant, Zion. Welcome Adina. And to those who are joining us from anywhere else, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, you are welcome, and we're encouraging you to post your answers and post your comments in the chat as we go along. So remember to put the number. Remember to put the number that you're answering, because the chat sometimes lags behind, and we want to make sure that the answers that you're giving, we know which questions you're answering. Okay, Ngozi, welcome. Okay, so lots of persons are here. Everyone loves factorizing quadratics. Believe me, it is addictive. And once you get the hang of it, you just want to keep doing it. So we're going to, good night. Jamani is here as well. So we're going to work some together. Now, I'm going to share the screen. Okay, so I believe that's the one. All right, so who is up first? So I think each person can do 3 tonight. Each person can factorize 3. Who wants to go
Me,
first?
Miss.
Who is me? Who named
Miss.
me?
Honey.
Miss, can I factorize my 3 at one time?
Asar, you want to factorize your 3 first? All 3?
Yes,
Is
Miss.
that what you're saying?
Yes, Miss.
Um, okay. I think I know why Asar wants to do that. And I'm going to allow him. Asar has a major exam tomorrow, and I think he wants to take flight. So, guys, are we going to allow Asar to do his 3 first, and then he's going to go and study for his exam or
Yes,
revise?
okay, Miss.
Okay, all right. So that can be, we can work that out, right? It's our thing, so we can work out with thing. So Asar, you're gonna do the first 3. Okay, so while you're doing it, just explain to us step by step what you're doing for those who are just being exposed. Why is my X looking like it's in malice with the different? The right side of the X is in malice with the left side of the X. You're not talking. As you go along, explain what you're doing. So go ahead, Asar.
Okay, Miss. The first thing we have to do when we're factorizing is make sure that it's in the right order, which is x squared, then x, then the whole number.
The constant term. Okay. So we have our X squared term first, our X term in the middle, and the constant term at the end. All right. So this is in the format. All right. So go ahead now. What next?
Now we multiply the n terms, 16 and 1.
So we multiply the coefficient of the X squared term by the constant term. All right. So 16 times 1, and that gives
16.
Imani. How you not reminding me that I must use the highlighter, girl?
Oh, Miss, I didn't realize that you weren't using it. Okay.
And I discovered it yesterday. So yeah. All right. So yeah, look how bright that is. All right. So after we multiply the coefficient of the X squared term by the constant term, what next?
Then we find the factors of the number.
So we want
No,
the
factors of
factors
16,
of 16.
which
That's what?
are 4 and
Sorry, this should
4.
be an 8 here. This should be an 8. Our rows are 3. It should be an 8. So we want the factors of 16. That's that what? You have to talk to me and remember your
That
X.
that that add up to the middle term.
All right, so we want the factors of 16 that add up to give 8. And what are those factors that add to give 8 and multiply to give 16?
4 and 4.
All right, so 4 and 4. Okay, so what do we do next?
Then we put back the 16x squared.
All right, so 16x squared.
And then we change the 8x to the 4x
So 4x and 4x.
plus 1.
I will write back the plus 1. All right.
Then you find the number that can go into both of those,
So we pair them up, these two together, these two together, and we're going to find the common factors of these two. All right.
which is 4x,
So 4x is common. Uh-huh.
and 4x into 16x squared goes 4x times,
So 4x.
and 4x into 4x goes 1 times, so plus 1.
So that's 1. What's common to these two?
1.
1 is common.
4x plus 1.
So 1 into 4x goes
4x
4x, and 1 into 1 goes
plus 1.
1. All right, so our two factors then would be
2x plus 1.
4x plus
4x
1.
plus 1.
All right, so 4x plus 1 is one factor.
And the other factor is 4x plus 1.
So 4x plus 1 is the other factor. All right, so we could write it like this then. We could just say 4x plus 1 squared, right? Since
Yes,
it's the
miss.
same. All right, okay. So brilliant work, Asar. So you have factorized 6x squared plus 8x plus 1 to 4x plus 1 bracket squared. All right, so here's your next one. And by the way, we're not going to do this this week, but last week we showed that when we factorize and we get our factors, we should be able to expand those factors using the distributive law and simplify it, and it will go back to the original expression. All right, well, we're not going to do that this week. If you want to know what I'm talking about, go to the session that we did last week, Tuesday, on for the algebra factorizing quadratic expressions, and you'll see what I mean, right? So when we get our factors, we expand them using the distributive law and simplify them to get back our original expression. All right, Asar, so here's your next one. All right, so we have -8 equals -15 x squared minus 14x.
So to get it in the proper format, we have to carry over that
Could you
negative
speak up,
8.
please, Asar?
Wait, hold on. Okay, can you hear me?
Not hearing you now. I'm not hearing you now. Let me see if he got kicked off. All right. Try again, Asar. Test your mic again.
Can you hear me now?
I'm hearing you, but it's still a little low. But go ahead.
Okay. So carry over that 8 and make it positive. So it'll be
You sure you don't want to work with these as positive? It's up to you still. You want to keep these negative and carry over the 8. That's what you're saying, right? Okay.
we could we
You could do
could
that if you want. You could keep the 8 and bring these over to the left, or you could let these stay and bring over the 8. It's all the same. All right, so let's do that. Minus 14x plus 8. All right.
and
So
then we
now
will
it's in the
multiply
quadratic format. All right.
and then we would multiply the n terms, which are
All right.
negative 15 and 8.
Negative 15 times 8. And that gives
Negative 120.
all right, negative 120. So we want to know which two numbers multiply to give negative 120, and add to give the middle coefficient, which is negative 14.
The factors of negative 120 are 12 and negative 10.
So you're saying 12 and negative 10. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Negative 10 and 12.
I have that already. So negative 12 and 10.
Um, 5 and negative 24.
5, negative 24, and negative 5 and 24. Mm-hmm.
And and 20 and negative 6 and 6 and negative 20.
Mm-hmm.
And if you add those, then you see that it gives the middle number.
Which two? These
So
two
it's
or these
the
two?
one that we're gonna use.
These two or these two? Is it the positive 20 and the negative 6, or the positive 6 and the negative 20? Which two add
Bottom,
together?
the very
So
bottom
the,
one.
okay, so these two. So we're going to replace the negative 14x with
The positive 6 and
negative.
negative
All right,
20.
so, and by the way, this is an equation. There's an equal sign there, but we're still just factorizing. Next week, we're going to learn how to solve quadratic equations. So we're just factorizing this week. Whether we get expressions or equations, we're just solving. So we're replacing the negative 14x with negative 20x and positive 6x. We're not changing the value of the equation. This still gives negative 14, so we haven't changed anything. We're just rewriting it so we can factorize it. All right, so what's the next step, Asar?
Then we find the common factor.
So we're going to pair up these
15x
two.
squared and negative 20x.
What's the common
The
factors
common
for these two?
factor is so the common factor is 5x, negative 5x.
Okay, so negative 5x.
So and negative 5x into negative 15x squared goes goes negative goes 3x times
Mm-hmm.
positive 3x.
Mm-hmm. And what's the next step?
And negative 5x into negative 20x goes 4 times plus 4.
Mhm.
Then the common factor in 6x plus 8 is 9.
Is the common factor is
The next step is
what's the common
to
factor?
find the common factor of 6x and 8.
Which is what?
So the common factor is 2.
Mm-hmm.
2. Common factor is 2.
I
2,
have the two.
miss.
I have the two. Mhm. All right, so go ahead. So I have the two here. All right, so the common factor is 2, and then
So 2 into 6x goes 3x times
all right, so 2 into 6x goes 3x. Mm-hmm.
plus 4.
And 2 into 8 goes 4. All right, so what's the next step?
Next step is to no, sorry. Put the parentheses and put the factors inside of it.
All right, so we'd have the negative 5x plus 2 and 3x plus 4. And by the way, when you get to this stage, you should have the same thing in the brackets here. If you don't, you're doing something wrong. All right, so Asar has one more, and then we're going to release him so he can go prepare for his exam tomorrow. All right, so let me see. The next one is 2x squared minus 7x plus 6. All right, there you go, Asar.
So it's already in the proper order. So all we have to do is multiply the n numbers, which are 2 and 6.
So 2 times 6 gives
12.
12. All right, so what are the factors of 12 that add to give negative 7?
Negative 3 and negative 4.
Negative 3 and negative 4. All right, so negative 3 times negative 4 gives positive 12, and negative 3 plus negative 4 gives negative 7. So we're going to replace the negative 7x with negative 3x and negative 4x. So I'm putting the negative 4x closer to the 2, and I'm putting the negative 3x closer to the 6, since they share common factors. All right, Asar, so what's next?
Next, we find the factor of 2x squared and negative 4x, which is 2x.
All right, so 2x is common, and what's left back in the bracket?
X. X minus 2.
And for these two, what's common?
Negative 3.
So negative 3 is common.
And we have x minus 2 again.
X minus 2. All right, so now we have in this bracket 2x minus 3
and x minus 2.
and x minus 2. All right, thank you, Asar.
Yes, please.
All right, so see you tomorrow.
Bye.
And good luck on your test. All right, so Imani, you said you wanted to go next.
Yes, miss.
All right, so this is yours. We have 24 plus 5x minus x squared. Okay, so that's your first one, Imani.
Okay, miss. So I have to put it in the order for the quadratic equation.
You could factorize it as is, since
Oh yeah, it's
it's
just reversed. Okay.
yeah, it's just the reverse of the order.
So it would be 24 times negative 1, and that would give you negative 24.
Mhm.
And the factors of negative 24 are
That add
negative,
to give 5.
add to give 5 would be, oh, negative 3 and 8.
Okay. So negative 3 times positive 8 gives negative 24, and negative 3 plus 8 gives positive 5. All right, so we're going to replace the 5x with negative 3x and positive 8x. Right, so we have 24 plus 8x. I'm putting the negative 3 closer to the negative x because they both have a negative, right? So
Yes.
you decide, and you're still going to get the answer, but there are just some simpler ways of doing things, right? So I like to pair up things that I can immediately see they have common factors. All right, so what do I do next?
Miss, so the common factor of 24 and 8x, miss, is 8. So 8
Mhm.
into 24 goes 3 times, and 8 into 8x goes x times.
All right,
And for this one, we're going to use negative 1. So negative 1
negative
is.
x.
Oh, yes, negative x. Sorry.
Mhm.
So negative x into negative 3x is negative 3.
Positive 3.
Oh, oh, yes, negative into negative is positive 3, since negative into negative gives a positive. And
Mhm.
um, negative x into negative x squared is positive x.
Mhm.
So in our first bracket, we would have 8 minus x, and in our second
Mhm.
bracket, we would have 3 plus x.
Okay. All right. So that's that.
Yes.
Okay, John,
Okay.
your turn. So John's own is 6 plus x minus x squared.
First, it just be 6.
Hmm?
6. No, I was saying 6 times negative 1 gives you a negative 6.
All right, so 6 times negative 1, which is
Negative.
negative 6. Mm-hmm.
We got it. So some of the factors that would are to give x this. Can help
You wanna switch places with Imani so I can hear you better on the mic?
again.
So we're looking for the factors that multiply to give negative 6 and add to give the middle coefficient, which is 1.
Yes.
All right, so which two numbers multiply to give negative 6 and add to give positive 1?
Okay, miss. So miss, the fact. Okay, miss. Negative 1 times 6.
All right, so the factors of negative 6 are negative 1 and 6,
Yes, miss. Negative 2 times 3.
negative 2 and 3,
3 and negative 2.
3 and negative 2.
Okay. Miss, I
Same
found it.
thing, same
Yes,
thing.
yes, Miss, I
So we
found
wanted
factors.
-3 and +2 now. All right.
Yes. So Miss, we'll put it back into the equation, Miss. So it'd be
So which
6
two you're using? Which two you're using?
less -3 and 2.
That don't give +1.
Um, it's for yes, Miss, -2 and 3.
So it's these two, -2 and +3.
Yes.
They multiply to give -6 and they add to give +1. So we're going to replace the x with -3x.
Plus
No, sorry,
no negative. Yes.
+3x -2x. All
Minus
right,
x.
-2x.
No, that's how I was saying the x squared.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, Miss.
Okay, so pair up these two now.
Okay, Miss. The number that can go into 6 and 3, Miss, is 3.
So 3 is common. Okay.
Yes. Okay. And Miss, 3 into 6 goes 2 times, Miss. So 2 plus x, Miss. Because 3 into 3x goes 1 time.
Okay.
Wait.
And what's common here for these two?
Miss, the x.
Just x.
Miss, negative x.
All right, so -x is common.
Yes.
So -x into -2x.
Miss, that goes 2 times. Positive 2 times, Miss. And negative x into negative x squared, Miss, that goes positive x.
All right. So we have same thing in the bracket, so we know we're on the right track.
Yes.
All right, so finally we do what?
Miss, final what we do? Miss, it be 3 minus x and 2
So
plus x.
3 minus x and
2
2
plus
plus
x.
x. Okay.
Okay, Miss, that's it.
All right. So each person has what? 2 more?
Yes, Miss.
All right. Each person has 2 more. So we're use up for colors, you know. All right, Madam Imani. So your next one is x squared plus 8x plus 15.
Okay, Miss. So it's already in the order. So positive 1 times.
Hold a bit, please. So in the chat, Ngozi is saying, where does the -1 come from? All right, I wonder which -1 Ngozi is talking about. I wonder which -1 Ngozi is talking about. Um, -1. Let's go back and see something. Did we have a -1 here? I wonder if it's this -1 Ngozi talking about. Let me see. Ngozi, please clarify which -1 you're talking about. What was the equation? And we'll go back when you clarify that. All right, Imani, continue, please.
Okay, Miss. So 1 times positive 15 is going to be 15, and 2 factors of 15, positive 15 that add to give 8 are positive 3 and positive 5.
Okay, so 3, 5. So 3 times 5 give 15. 3 plus 5 give 8. All right.
Okay,
So we're going to replace the 8x with 3x and
3x plus
5x.
5x.
Okay. So we write back our x squared, but instead of 8x, we're going to put 3x and 5x. Okay.
Yes, miss. And now we're going to factorize them. So
So
x
this
into
here,
x squared and 3x is going to, so x is the common
so the
factor.
common factor is x.
Yes, miss. And x into x squared is x. And x into positive 3x is positive 3. So now we're going, the
For
common
these two
factor of
now,
those two is 5.
common
So
factor is 5.
yes, miss. So it would be 5 into 5x is x times, and 5 into is into positive 15 is positive 3.
Okay.
So in one bracket we would have x plus 5, and in the other would
So
have x plus
x plus 5 in one bracket, and in
and
the other bracket,
x plus
x
3.
plus 3. Okay. X plus 3. And we have factorized another one. All right, John, your second one.
Um,
All right, so John's second one is 6x squared plus 7x minus 20.
okay, so this is 6 times negative 20, and that's
So 6 times negative 20, which is
negative 120.
negative 120. So we want to know which two numbers multiply to give negative 120 and add to give positive 7.
So, yeah, the factor is negative 120. Or negative 10 and 2 is 20. No, sorry, it's negative
20, 12, negative 10 and positive 12, right?
yes, miss.
Or negative 12 and positive 10. What else?
Yes, um, negative 60 times 2.
So negative 60, positive 2, negative 2, positive 60. Since they need to add to give 7,
Yes,
we need two factors that are fairly close, right? These two, for example, couldn't possibly add to give 7, you see?
yes. Hmm.
All right. So bear in mind, you don't always have to be listing out all the factors. If that's your way, then do it. But as soon as you find the two that you need, you don't have to list out all the others. All right. So go ahead, John. We don't find them yet.
Okay, this negative 5 times 20.
Negative 5 and
It's 95 and 24.
okay. Or negative 24, positive 5. Since it's a negative number, we can switch the signs for the pairs.
Yes,
All right. None of these don't look like they add to give 7.
and it's,
So we need to keep going.
um, it's, uh, 3 times negative 40.
All right. So 3 and negative 40 or negative 3 and 40.
Okay, and it's
You
30.
want, you want me to help you?
And it's 13, 13, negative 13 times uh,
30 and negative 4
uh,
and negative 30 and 4.
it's almost
Okay.
it's 13 times
13.
13. Cannot give you that.
13 can't go into 120, negative 120.
Okay. Uh,
Sure you don't want help?
let's move on to
Alright. So Ngozi is saying where you had 24 plus 5x minus x squared, then it turned into 24 times 1. Oh, times negative 1. So Ngozi, the coefficients, the end coefficients, remember negative x squared, the coefficient is negative 1. So it's negative 1x squared. The coefficient is negative 1. John, Zion is offering some help to you. Zion is saying negative 8 and 15. Are you
okay.
accepting the help?
Estimates.
Okay. So thank you, Zion. 15
Is that each?
and negative 8. So these two multiply to give negative 120 and they add to give positive 7. So we're going to replace the positive 7x with 15x and negative 8x. So 6x squared plus 15x minus 8x. So I decided to put the negative 8 close to the negative 20. I could have put it here, they have common factors, but I want to work with the negatives together. It's all up to you how you manipulate your expression. All
Okay.
right, so go ahead, John.
Okay, Mr. The like terms are 3 for the
So the
sequence.
common terms for these two will be just 3.
No, Miss 3x.
3x is common to both these terms. So 3x into 6x squared,
Miss goes to it. Miss 2x.
2x, and
Plus
3x into 15x.
Miss positive 5.
All right. All right, so these two now, the negative 8x minus 20, what's common?
Miss the 4. 4x.
No x. X is not common. This don't have any x.
S is Miss the 4.
You sure it's just 4?
Negative 4 Miss.
Negative 4 is common. All right, so negative 4 into negative 8x.
Miss that goes 2x.
All right, and negative 4 into negative 20.
Miss positive 5.
Positive 5. All right, so what's my next move?
Miss we're going to put each of them in a bracket. So Miss is 3x minus 4.
So 3x minus 4 and
2x plus 5.
2x plus 5. Okay, so we have factorized. Let me
Miss,
check in. Yes, John?
could I please go into the bathroom?
Yeah, man, go on and come back.
Thank you.
Okay, so Ngozi is saying, oh, she understands now. All right, so that's great. So each scholar has one more to go. One more to go, one more to go, one more to go. So let's go, madam.
Okay, Miss.
Okay. So your last one is 7x plus 20x squared equals 6. So this is an equation, but we're not going to solve it. We're still just going to factorize it.
Okay, miss. So the first thing we would do is subtract 6 from both sides to get everything on the inside. So it would be 7x plus 20x squared. Oh, let's just write it properly. So 20x squared plus 7x minus 6 equals 0.
All right.
So now we're going to multiply the 6 and the
Hold
negative
on.
6 and the
This
20.
hold on. This look confusing, so let me just write it properly. So 20x squared plus 7x. All right. So what we're doing now?
Means we're going to multiply the negative 6 and the 20.
All right. So 20 times negative 6. We're
Yes,
getting a lot of negative 120 tonight, though.
yes, miss.
Okay, so which, and it's the same 7 and it's the same 7 or so.
Yes, miss.
So which two numbers multiply to give negative 120 and add to give 7? So we're back to
It's
that.
15 and negative 8.
Okay, so 15 and negative 8. All right.
So we're just going to replace the 7x with the 15.
All right, so we're going to replace the 7 with 15x and negative 8x. So we'll have the 20x squared plus 15x minus 8x minus 6. All
Yeah.
right.
So now we're going to factorize the pairs of numbers.
All right, so the common factors of these two are,
Miss the largest one is 5x.
so 5.
5x.
Mhm.
So 5x into 20x squared is 4x.
Mhm.
And 5x into 15x is 3.
Mhm.
And common factor of those two is negative 2.
Mhm.
So negative 2 into negative 8x is 4x. And negative 2 into negative 3 is.
Negative 6.
Sorry, into negative 6 is positive 3.
Okay. All right.
So in the first bracket, we would have 5x minus 2, and in the second, we would have.
Is John back?
Yes, miss.
All right, John, this is your last one.
Okay, miss.
So we have negative 23x equals negative 12x squared minus 5. That's where it's at, John.
Okay. Okay. Okay, miss. Bring over the negative 23x this way. 0 equals negative negative 12x squared minus 5 plus 12 plus 23x. Sorry.
Hmm?
If I was sending the equation, it would be 0 equals negative 12x squared minus 5 plus 23.
Why not put this in the middle? Because you know that's where it should be. So it's now a positive, right?
Yes, miss. Positive 23x minus 5.
All right. And where do we go from there?
Next we multiply. negative 12 times negative 5 means, and that gives a positive 60.
So which two numbers multiply to give 60 and add to give 23?
Okay, miss. Okay, so miss 10 times 10, 10 negative, no, sorry, miss, 10 times 6.
So 10 and 6.
4 and 15, miss.
4 and 15. Mhm.
Okay, miss. uh, 12, 12 and 5, miss.
12 and 5.
2 and 30, miss.
2 and 30.
Okay, miss.
And what
3 and,
else?
miss 3 and 20. Miss
3.
that number. 3
So
and 20.
these are the two, right?
Yes,
So they multiply to give 60 and they add to give 23. Okay, so we're going to replace the 23x with 3x and 20x. And they are both positive. All right, what's after that, John?
miss, we find out which number can go the common term in each
So
part. So
we're
miss,
pairing up these two.
yes,
All right, so we have what's common to negative 12x squared and 3x.
miss 3x.
All right, so 3x.
Okay, so 3x into
Or it's
negative,
not negative 3x.
um, uh, miss it can be negative 3x.
Yeah, it's
Because
negative
negative
3x.
12.
Mm-hmm.
So negative 3x into negative 12, if that goes positive 4x.
Mm-hmm.
And negative 3x into 3x, miss that goes negative x.
Negative 1.
Yes,
All right, so for the 20x minus 5, what's common?
miss 5.
5.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
5 into 20x, miss that goes 4x.
Mm-hmm.
And 5 into negative 5 means that goes, but it's negative 1.
All right.
It's, so 0 is equal to, to negative 3x, so negative 3x plus 5, negative 6.
Mm-hmm.
And 4x minus 1.
All right. So each person did what? 3. Each person did 3. That's great. So scholars, let me know if you have any questions. So look at what we've done. We did 9. We factorized 9 quadratics. 3 of them were equations and 6 were expressions. Normally, when we get equations, we'll be asked to solve them, but we're not ready to solve them yet. We're going to do that next week. So next week, I'm going to show you how to solve quadratic equations using the method of factorizing. So you're going to do an additional step or an additional couple steps. After you factorize, then you go on to solve it. Bear in mind, not all quadratic expressions can be factorized. Not all of them can be factorized. Some of them we have to use other methods of solving them, like using the quadratic formula, for example, to solve them, or trying to complete the square, or some of them, they can be solved by using the difference of squares, that kind of thing. We have done the difference of squares already. So we have, coming up in algebra classes, we're going to use the quadratic formula. We're going to see how to complete the square, all of that good stuff. But next week, we're going to solve quadratic equations
Miss, I have a question.
using factorizing. Go ahead.
Let me see. Next week, are we going to do it the quadratic formula with the square root, Miss? A squared?
No, no. Next week, we're going to use factorization to solve quadratic equations. So that means we're going to be working with quadratic equations that can be factorized. Like I said, not all of them can be factorized. If they can be factorized, then that's the easy way. You just go ahead and factorize it. If not, then your sure bet is to use a quadratic formula. Any quadratic equation can be solved using the quadratic formula. But you have some quadratic equations that can be factorized, as we have done. Tonight, we use 9 such. So, scholars, I'm going to send you to your beds now. And when I send you to your bed, I don't want you to be up doing anything else. I don't want you roaming the house, giving mommy trouble. I don't want you searching the fridge for food. I don't want you doing anything else but go and get some sleep.
Okay, Miss.
Promise?
Miss.
That okay, mister. That okay, mister. Don't sound like Imani. I don't like how that
Yes.
okay, mister. I don't like how that okay, mister. So no, sir. You sound like you have plans. You sound like you have plans that don't include bed right now.
No, Miss.
All right. Well, go and go do your thing as long as you're ready for class tomorrow morning.
Yes, Miss.
Okay, guys. So see you tomorrow. Enjoy your night.
Bye,
Thanks to
Miss.
those in the chat. Goodbye, Ngozi. Goodbye, Zion. Goodbye, Dinsmore, Jamani, Adina. Who else did it? Whole heap of people did it. To all those on, and Jace, Joyce. Goodbye to all of you. Those on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and YouTube and everywhere. All right, so here's our schedule of live classes. Please write down these dates and times so you know which sessions we do at the particular times. We have 5 live PEP classes per week and 6 live CSEC classes per week, including our Midnight Oil multiple choice paper 1 class on a Thursday. So please write down these schedules. And here it is. Hello CSEC math students, I know you are busy preparing for your math tests and your CSEC exams coming up. I have a very important question to ask you. Do you like my new hat? Thank you. Now another important question. Have you ever gotten a math problem wrong simply because of making one little mistake? I'm sure you have, as thousands of other students have. Now in this series, we're going to be looking at the common mistakes that students make with all the topics in CSEC Math, we're going to look at the common errors, demystify everything. Make sure you watch every video in this series so that you can avoid making those mistakes. So stay tuned. Hello scholars. Did you know that most times when students get problems wrong in mathematics is as a result of one single error or one mistake? Well, this is absolutely true, and we're going to be looking at the common errors that students make in the different topics in mathematics. If we know the errors beforehand, we can certainly avoid making them. Are you ready? Come on, take my hand.